Okay, so now we've got our ball position set up. A lot of people wonder, how far do we set up to that golf ball? Well, what we look for is we look for a nice posture. The legs should be pretty straight. There's a slight bend in the knees, but what we're really looking to do is we're looking to bend from that waist and get a nice angle there. And once we're able to do that, our arms should hang naturally from our shoulders here. We're really looking for our arms and these shoulders to create a nice triangle. If we get ourselves too much out in here, that's no good. We don't want to get ourselves crowded into our body either. We want our arms to hang nice and freely so they have a nice supple movement to them in there from those shoulders, something like that. So again, we don't want to get ourselves too much out in here, and we also don't want to crowd ourselves. Set yourself up, get a little bend at the waist, a little bit of bend at the knees here. So we're trying to stay as nice and tall in the golf swing as possible, and then just naturally let your shoulders let your arms hang down from your shoulders, just kind of like that. And that's about where that club position should be. And now we got a nice lie angle on that club. One thing to keep in mind is, obviously in today's golf world, we do a lot of fittings with golf clubs. Something that we should all do so we get a good lie angle on that club when we're set up. If we're setting ourselves up too much here, you're going to catch those golf balls where that toe of that club is going to be making impact with that golf ball. And when we get ourselves too much in here, the heel is going to be catching that ground too much. We want to make sure the sole of that club is nice and square to the ground, so we're making nice crisp contact. Okay, so in relation to the driver, again, we're looking for our arms to hang from our shoulders as naturally as possible, so there's not a lot of tension in those arms, so we can create as much club head speed as possible. So when we get set up to that golf ball and get it spotted in the right spot, I stand in relation to the golf ball so my arms are able to hang naturally from my shoulders down. Again, we don't want to get out in here. That's too far. We don't want to get ourselves crowded. Just get yourself naturally so you got a nice bend from the hips here, and let those arms hang naturally right from those shoulders. Now you're just in a good position. You should have about one hand length from the grip to your pants here, to your belt buckle, and that would be a good rule of thumb about where these hands should be in relation to the golf swing here. This is an improper motion. Those arms are getting much too straight out, which gets them a little too tight. You want them to be able to hang nice and soft from the shoulders naturally. It's going to create a little looser muscles so we can create a little more club head speed with the hands. All right, to get ourselves set up for a driver, couple things. First off, obviously we want to make sure that golf ball is teed up high enough that the top line of our club is going to meet the equator of that golf ball. That's going to get our center of gravity of this club face underneath the golf ball so we can get this thing on an upswing on an ascending blow here. Other things we want to keep in mind here is the ball position in relation to our stance is very important. What I look for is the golf ball to be as far forward of our stance that our hands can be slightly behind that golf ball. That's going to help us release into this golf shot a little bit better. To demonstrate that, what I simply do is I let my club sit down, and then I set myself up so my hands are just slightly behind that golf ball. We don't want to get ourselves too far out in here. That's taking too much loft off that club, not to mention it's going to be very difficult to release that golf ball. A lot of times that golf ball is going to tend to go left to right on us there. We want to make sure the hands are just slightly behind that golf ball. It's going to really help us catch that ball on an ascending blow and try and get some good height on this shot and get it to carry as much as possible. As far as our arms are in relation to our body, we want them hanging freely from our shoulders. So we want to make sure we have a nice good posture, just a slight bend of the knees, but not too much. Really just kind of let our torso kind of hang down and then let our arms hang freely from our shoulders, something in that manner. There we go. And now I'm ready for a golf shot here.